Welcome to another amazing episode of our movie. Trust me, you're gonna love this one, I bet you. At the end of this movie, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more of our latest movies. Just relax and enjoy. It was a beautiful morning when Elsa woke up, but she wasn't happy. Why is she unhappy? What might be the problem? I guess it's the absence of her husband in her bed. But where is her husband? Where has he gone? My gosh, he is with another woman and about to be intimate with her, but something happened. Guys, he asked her to stop. The lady was surprised and asked why he was holding back. He replied that he still has a conscience. The lady responded, "You said you're no longer with your wife." He explained that he and his wife were separated but not officially divorced. The lady sighed, immediately got dressed, and left as Mike concluded that he still loved his wife and needed to make things right. Later that day, Mike went back home and immediately saw his children already dressed for school. He hugged them and asked where their mom was. They told him she went jogging but had already packed their meals for school. However, they hadn't had breakfast yet, so he quickly took them to the kitchen to prepare something. While they were in the kitchen, their mom came in and was surprised to see them still at home, thinking they had already left for school. She greeted her husband, and he gave her a kiss on the forehead. After they finished eating, the children tried to leave without washing their plates, but Elsa stopped them and told them to clean up. One of the kids quickly took the plate to the sink, but ran off because she didn't want to wash her younger sister's plate. Elsa called her back, but she didn't respond. Frustrated, Elsa looked at her husband and complained about their attitude, and Mike promised to talk to them. Elsa then asked her husband if he would be around on the 26th of the month. He said yes, so she asked him to attend their daughter's school play in her absence. Mike refused, questioning whether she would really choose work over their child's school event, and walked out on her, saying, "Have a good day at work." Later that day, Mike picked the children up from school. On the way home, one of the kids asked when their mom would speak with her teacher about the play. Mike replied that he would talk to the teacher, but his daughter insisted that she wanted her mom to speak with the teacher herself. Mike reassured them that he would talk to their mother. Then suddenly, his other daughter asked, "Dad, are you separating from Mom?" Surprised, Mike quickly stopped the car and told them he was working on becoming a good partner to their mother and that he would soon return home. They continued their drive. Later that night, Elsa and Mike discussed seeing a therapist to help their marriage. Elsa was initially surprised that Mike wanted them to go to therapy, but after he explained what their children had asked, she agreed. They decided to book a session, but the argument shifted to who would make the booking. Mike said he was too busy, and Elsa suggested he stay over so they could talk more. However, Mike refused, saying he had a lot to do. Frustrated, Elsa walked out, saying, "I didn't marry you to sleep alone in this house." The next morning, Elsa's friends visited, and they played a game of truth or dare, talking about their personal lives. Elsa told them about her and her husband going to therapy. They were surprised but happy for her, thinking it might help their marriage. They asked what made them decide to go, and Elsa explained that their kids had said they would want to live with their father if their parents separated, and she didn't want that. They continued playing the game happily. The next morning, they both went for therapy. The therapist asked what happened, and Mike explained that he had asked Elsa to balance her work life with her marital life, but she chose work over everything. He left, thinking she would call him back or change, but she didn't. Elsa responded that Mike didn't give her a choice. It was either him or her career, so she chose her career. Mike countered that whenever the family needed her, she was never available due to work. They continued arguing until the therapist cut them off, explaining that communication was crucial. She advised them to communicate more and be patient with each other. The therapist asked if they wanted to reconcile or go their separate ways, and after staring at each other, they both said they wanted to reconcile. She then advised them to go out frequently, as intentionality is needed for their marriage to work, and to always make time for each other, even if it's just a little. The next day, they went on a lunch date. Unfortunately, Elsa's phone rang. She didn't want to pick it up, but Mike insisted so it wouldn't be a distraction. She eventually answered the call, which turned out to be from work, and it took longer than expected. After ending the call, she quickly grabbed her bag and apologized to Mike, saying she had to leave and would make it up to him. She left, leaving Mike unhappy. Later that night, Elsa came home and was shocked to see a stranger with her daughter. She burst out, shouting at him and demanding his father's number. He apologized, but she kept shouting. Her daughter also shouted, telling her to stop, saying she was embarrassing her. The daughter explained that he was just their neighbor, helping her with her assignments. Elsa then asked, "Do you want to make the same mistake that I made?" Which angered her daughter, who replied, "So you're saying I'm a mistake?" and stormed out. Elsa immediately called Mike to report the situation, but Mike didn't give much of a response, saying, "If you were spending more time with the kids, this wouldn't be happening." Elsa got angry and ended the call. The next morning, they continued their therapy. The therapist asked about their last date, and Elsa explained what happened. The therapist then advised them to work on that issue and asked when they had last been intimate. Mike replied, saying it had been a year, 3 months, 6 days, and some seconds, which surprised Elsa. The therapist advised them to start getting intimate again, as it would bring them closer, and they both agreed. The next session with the therapist came, and she asked if they had been intimate, but unfortunately, they said no. She asked why, and they explained that just as they were about to, their daughter came downstairs and said Linda, the other daughter, was running a temperature and needed to be taken to the hospital. They immediately stopped what they were doing and rushed to help. The therapist then asked why they hadn't been having sex for so long. They explained that distractions and tiredness always got in the way. After work, they would be too tired, fall asleep, and the cycle would repeat. The therapist asked them to stare at each other for 5 minutes. However, Elsa interrupted with a sarcastic look, which angered Mike, and he didn't want to continue. The therapist suggested they go on a weekend vacation to find themselves again, without any distractions, and they both agreed. Later that night, Elsa informed the children about her and Mike's vacation, adding that their grandmother would come to stay with them. Lydia asked if their father would come back home after the vacation, and Elsa replied, "Hopefully." The children then said that they would prefer to live with their father if their parents ever separated, which hurt Elsa. She promised to settle things with Mike and asked them to come give her a hug, which they did. The next morning, they set off for their vacation. As they prepared to leave, Mike whispered to Elsa, "You look amazing," which made her smile. Mike carried the luggage outside while Elsa was in the kitchen, trying to eat. Her mom approached her and pleaded with her to make her marriage work again. She also asked how Elsa had been coping without a man, but Elsa didn't respond and simply walked away. They finally arrived at their vacation spot and had a good time together, eating out and talking. Suddenly, a guy approached them, saying he knew Mike and was a big fan. Mike, who is a popular artist, didn't know the man but pretended to, and they exchanged contact information. After the man left, Elsa laughed, knowing Mike had just played along, and they shared a laugh over it. They then went to their room, and Elsa was surprised by the decorations Mike had prepared for her. She appreciated him and kissed him, which led them to be intimate. But while they were in the middle of it, Mike shouted, and Elsa immediately stopped. What could have made him shout? Did something happen? Whatever it was, Elsa left angrily. Later that day, Elsa was sitting alone when she got a text message from Mike to meet him by the pool. She went to meet him, and they played romantically, danced, and dined together. Wow, isn't it lovely? I guess they were both drunk because what the heck were they dancing? Haha! They ended up in bed and fell asleep. The next morning, Elsa was on a call with her mom when she looked out the window and saw someone flirting with her husband. She immediately went downstairs and sat with some other men just to make him jealous. Mike saw this, got jealous, and lured her away, causing them both to laugh as they found it funny. They went back to their room, and Mike went to take a bath. Unfortunately, he found a sex toy in the bathroom. He angrily brought it to Elsa, asking if she had already replaced him. Elsa tried to explain, saying it wasn't what he thought, but Mike got upset and went back into the bathroom. Later that day, Elsa prepared a meal for Mike and tried to get him in the mood for intimacy. She apologized for the sex toy incident, but Mike's words hurt her and she burst out in anger and walked out. Elsa sat by the pool as Mike came to meet her, apologizing. However, Elsa didn't accept his apology right away. He kept apologizing, and Elsa asked what had happened to their relationship, as they never used to quarrel. Mike replied that work had kept them apart. Elsa felt bad, apologized, and promised to make things right. They hugged and ended up in bed again. This couple in their bed. Well, let them enjoy it if it brings peace. They decided to extend their stay and called their mom to explain. After a few days, they returned home, and everyone welcomed them. They announced that Mike would be moving back home, and the kids were so happy, like, finally, our parents are together again. That's a big fulfillment, though. Isn't this sweet? Finally, they are all happy, and both parents will attend their child's school play. Wow, so interesting. I'm sure this story made your day. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe for more interesting stories from my world of movies. See you in our next movie.